The meaning of God, boys and girls. So this is a personal spiritual relationship between me and God, and it's something from my experience I would like to propose you guys to have because I believe that there is some significant meaning spiritually speaking for you in your life, and having a good relationship with God, or at least having a nice journey that pursues the meaning of God and religion, is an absolute blessing for you. And I believe that there are definitely a lot of benefits for having a strong relationship. My name is Julian, and in this episode, I will explain to you guys, based on my experience, what the meaning of God is for me and how its significance has basically shaped a lot of stuff in my life. The meaning of God and the universe. Now, this is an absolute interesting journey that I am literally going through right now. And it is something that I have literally realized through the course of my years, especially when I'm in Malaysia right now. So, for the ones who don't really know me, I am not the best religious person. In fact, I am at the beginning stages of actually getting to know the religion. And from what I've experienced so far, I can absolutely tell you guys that it has helped me and tremendously shaped and changed a lot of areas in my life. I have learned that the universe is an absolutely giving place. It is, you can imagine it like Santa Claus giving presents, and Santa Claus basically chooses who he gives the presents to. So the universe basically works in the same way. The universe is an absolute giving place, and it is actually ready and it is willing to reward you based on the good and positive efforts you give it. And so, what are the specific ways of how you give towards the universe? That ultimately boils down to what you actually want from the universe. But a lot of these stuff can include business, personal achievements, personal development, enlightenment, pursuit of wisdom, pursuit of a family, wisdom, etc., etc. So, in other words, if you, in a positive perspective, shape your life in such a way where you give the universe your ultimate best in pursuing exactly those what I just mentioned, then the universe will ultimately give it and reward you in that specific way. Law of attraction is a very interesting one. There's a specific book, The Greatest Secret. Sorry, I just had to look at it. That kind of elaborates what the entire idea of law of attraction is. But it's basically the idea of within the universe, you are basically connected or in a relationship to the things that are similar to you. So basically, it works like a magnet. So imagine yourself as a magnet. If you were a positive person, then you would obviously just be related to the positive people around you. You can apply law of attraction in many areas of your life. For example, business. For example, if you're a person who's business minded, then you are attracted to the people that are literally same likely minded as you in business also. Same applies to the negative stuff. So if you're a person who has a negative attitude, who's a very pessimistic or a depressed person, then you are essentially attracted to the things that are depressed and negative around you. If you think you're poor, you'll remain poor. I think Rich Dad Poor Dad is a book that kind of elaborated that. The reason why the lower class or the bottom class, or the poor people basically remain that way is because their mindset literally installs them to be attracted to the things that poor people do and think. So if you are poor and you think you are that type of person, then you will effectively remain that person for a while until you actually shift your mindset at least to not being a poor person. Money is like the water cycle. This is something that I like to describe visually as how I view money, and it boils down to the law of attraction. So basically, I believe Robert Kiyosaki explained this as well. Money is like the water cycle. If you stand in the right place and in the right time, you will eventually be wet. So, with that being said, the question is, how do you stand in the right place and the right time? And that's where it boils down to you preparing yourself, allowing for opportunities to happen, to be attracted to money, to pursue the wisdom of everything that basically constitutes the idea of financial freedom. Then eventually the universe will grant your wish and basically enable you those opportunities for you to essentially be wet or to be freedom financially free. Thoughts turn into manifestation. Now, this is very interesting because this is something that I've personally started just recently, a few months ago. And it's basically the idea of visualization. Now, visualization can come in many forms. It can be meditation, it can be journaling, it can even just basically be imagining yourself in a future possible instance where something positive happens. So, thoughts turn into manifestation. It's a phrase I like to use where it basically describes whatever you imagine and visualize every single day, eventually that process will turn into your reality. And I do that in many ways. One is having a conversation with God, and this is something that I personally have, if not daily. It's where basically I'm with myself and it kind of looks like a conversation where I basically tell God what happens and the things that I want to happen in hopes that that kind of wish will be granted to me. I believe that principle was mentioned in the previous slide with the idea of law of attraction as well. Ask for what you want. So this is something as cliche as it sounds, what people actually don't do very often, not that I know of, but you can always ask or wish something from God. But obviously, wishing and asking is one, but you do have to put the effort in it for actually the wish to be granted. This is very important. So, action obviously speaks louder than words. Remember, the bad instances can be good ones. So, this is something that I like to apply, and it took such a long time for me to realize as well. But every single bad situation that really happens to you, if you kind of shift your perspective in a way that it's very positive, all the bad instances per se can actually be a good one. So even though things look like they're not going your way on the surface, deep down, as the religious people like to say, God has another plan for you. Or you can put it that way, maybe it was good for another cause, perhaps a cause that you are not so aware of. Everything is written. Choose the right narrative. So this is a phrase I personally learned from my Islamic journeys, which I learned from the Quran. And so basically everything is written down, right? And so what that means is there's every single possibility out there for you already, right? Now the question is, which narrative would you like to choose? And this is something that I personally interpreted into my own words. And it's basically, you are the narrator of your story, you are the hero of your story, you are the person responsible for for dictating and choosing the life that you want to walk. So choose your path, walk your path, and make sure that it is the narrative that you would like to follow. Like again, everything is written, and creating a religion or creating a good relationship with God is essentially a good way for you to start.